All right. Welcome to week 8 of Did Prince Do This Week? How are you this day, Michael Dean?
Doing good. Looks like somebody's birthday in the chat.
Somebody's birthday in the chat. Let's see. Oh, Christina from Minneapolis turned 58 the other day. Ready for another
Wow. Happy birthday.
Yes, happy birthday. And for Around the Roll in a Day, yes. The Pop Life Symposium is fast approaching in April, but we'll talk about that another day. And we have Anna B first in the chat, ready for the Purple Party. We got Vincent Droid 01, Saturday Greetings fam. Thank you, Mr. Dean, for bringing that parade era of Prince to us on your podcast. Keep singing. Thank you. Los Angeles, love you guys. Amazing.
Yeah.
We got Cassandra Bradley, first time back in the gym since November 2024. We're going to pray for you. You're not going to be on the struggle bus. You got this. That's what you do. That's who you are, Cassandra. And we got the Thrilly Effect. We got Chad Martin from Minneapolis, where it's above zero. I'm so happy for you that at least it's above and not below. We got April from Tampa. It's going to be hard to talk over this week as well. It's hard to talk over Madhouse sometimes. We got Andre, what up, though? And we got Sister Charles from Houston, H-Town. We have Clarissa back from Minneapolis, right on time. Hope you enjoyed your time in Minneapolis. And I hope the divas were doing it. And then we have Nick Felden from Denver. Thursday, we got so many birthdays. Thursday was my birthday. And if I were living in LA in 85, I've gone to the February 20th show. That's what I'm talking about.
Right.
On your birthday.
Oh, right here.
All right. So I'm not saying everybody's names today because I just had to listen to that. Not put your names up on the screen. So morning to everybody. Welcome, Chris Bournet. Welcome, Monk. Welcome, LTK. Oh, thank you so much. This really means a lot to me. That you look forward to these. Got to get your purple fix.
Absolutely.
Hit.
Yes.
We have EA in the house. Marcus G. We have Audria. Happy episode 111th. And we have Celie. All right, Celie is in the chat for 40 minutes.
Are you not coming on today, Celie?
Sports.
Okay. See where your loyalties lie.
Yeah. Yes, we do. And we got Myron. We have my alliterative brothers. Morning in the Morris voice. And we got Love Sexy 71. Yeah, sexy. We got Lunch with Prince. And let me see. Did I? JD Washington in the house. We got Man Ray 10. Thank you so much, Man Ray 10, for the information. And we got Ronald Dagley Jr. in the house. Awesome. Love the Slide Prince video on your channel. I was jamming. That slide doc was great. Awesome. And we got our timekeeper in the house. We got D68A. Thank you so much for the videos as always, because we got a couple in the accompanying playlist. And I think we got everybody. And Kim says, show C. Lee some love and let him multitask. Then we got Jesse. Oh, I miss you, Jesse.
What up, Jesse?
Our purple politician. All right, so let's get this party started. And we are, again, week 8 of What Did Prince Do This Week? And we are not going we are going week to week, not date to date. I try to do this super fast. That's what happens when I try to go fast. You can follow the detailed schedule at the QR code as well as the bit.ly link. You do not need the paperback, but this is the most updated version, the one with the circle. But if you're an OG, you have the hardcover.
Yeah.
Yeah. And These will be archived at Polish Solid as well as at MDean. Please subscribe, like, and help spread the word to get people reading. So again, you don't have to read, but we hope to spread the love of reading and reading Duane's books in particular. And then we have our hashtag WDPDTW, and we hope to have, I was hoping someone who had seen the Inglewood show would have want to have joined us, but I haven't heard anybody. But Big Sexy said he was going to come back because Big Sexy daily city shows. So he's going to come back either next week or the week following when we start talking about the daily city shows. And I see we got Mila in the house. And is Beyonce still on tour? That shows you how much I'm up with the Beehive. So it seems like she's been touring for a long time. And then we got
she's about to go on tour.
Oh, she's about to go on tour.
Stop playing like you don't know Beyonce.
I actually don't, because Michael Dean, I'm not on the social medias these days. And I go directly to Corey Henry's Instagram account, Bilal's Instagram account, Omar's Instagram account, Alice Smith's Instagram account, and that is it.
We're talking about Beyonce though, but I hear you.
No, but seriously, I don't watch Entertainment Tonight. So unless somebody
Entertainment Tonight, that's all you had to say, right?
Yeah, I don't.
That's it. Okay, I get it. Never mind.
I don't keep up on these things. So thank you, Mila. See, Mila understands. Oh, the money's tight, Michael Dean. When the money's tight, you have to limit who you try to keep.
You know how tight your money got to be. You still watching Entertainment Tonight like that?
I'm not watching Entertainment Tonight.
Future money or something.
I used to. Way back when I used to get my entertainment news. Like,
you know, it used to come on right after Joker's Wild.
Actually, after like Wheel of Fortune. Yeah. All right. Okay. I'm an analog girl in a digital world, Michael Dean.
That's more like an 8-track girl in the digital world, but I get it.
That is correct. I'm trying to go back to the 8 tracks. That's right. I'm serious about that too. All right. So for next week, we're going to be talking about one more Inglewood show, as well as a matinee at Santa Monica on that Monday. And then on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, there were the beginning of the daily city shows. And then we're going to transition into March. I cannot believe it's March already. And thank you, Blade. Thank you, Blade Brown. Blade Brown says the world might need Prof. Duff's algorithm. That's right. Yeah, actually, Entertainment Tonight is still on air, because the only reason why I know that is I saw it when I was at my mom's house for Christmas. So that's the only reason why I know that. But welcome. And I gotta say a special shout out to Alonzo from Alabama, because that's where I was born and raised. So welcome, Alonzo. And then what? That's what I'm talking about, Tanja. I am so excited. It's moving back to the East Coast, so hopefully more shows. That's what I'm talking about, Tanja. Please keep me up, because I don't be looking around. Yes, that's right. Everybody knows this. Nick Felden knows Entertainment Tonight is still on. And I love Dr. Claus comments. We won't say anything. And this is pretty funny. Yes, that is correct. Right, but right. Do they talk about when people go on tour and stuff? I don't watch TMZ either, so I don't know. Do you know, Michael Dean? Do they be talking about when people go on tour? I don't know. So let's see. This is a special shout out from C. Lee to everybody. How many bodies? Everybody. And a special message for C. Lee. Go JSU. And C. Lee, enjoy your words last week. Dr. Claw. And we got a lot of people missing you, C. Lee. You got to switch up your allegiance. All right. So this is an independent endeavor. The estate of Prince Rogers Nelson is not affiliated or associated or connected with the What Did Prince Do This Week book club series. And I want to add some community guidelines, because sometimes, our conversations get very heated and excited, but we choose to be a community even when we disagree. So I don't want us to like, mute ourselves, but at the same time, we want to choose to be a community even when we disagree.
And in other words, in the chat, watch your tone and delivery.
Yes.
There you go.
Awesome.
Or you will get bounced up out of here.
Yes. All right. And then some in the chat might say that also the people on the stage might want to check their tone and everything. So we want this.
I would say when you go over somebody's house, they rules they house. So if you don't like it, you go to the other house. But when you come in here, just because the man at the house he gets to put his feet up, that don't mean you get to put your. I mean, who raised you? That's just basic, common type stuff. So yeah, we might get a little spicy, but you better not. That's just how I was raised. I don't know if that's right, but
yes, I appreciate
grandma
that.
and them, they in there cussing and having. Don't let me come in there acting like I was paying rent and get the cut, tear my little behind up. So it's the same. I assume that's how people would treat this, but maybe I'm wrong.
No, well, that's definitely Michael Dean, how I grew up. so I understand, but I'm just trying to make sure that everybody's happy. It's it's hard to do that sometimes, but yes. All right. There was something I saw. Oh, I love this. You can disagree, but you can't diss. Love that. That's pretty cool. All right. And I love this too. Everybody grown here and want respect. We got Ricky in the chat. Thank you.
Morning, Rick. Where you at?
Yes.
Get on over here. Rick over here. He came to. He didn't come to work. He just came through to say what's up. You know what I'm saying? Like
get his check.
Yeah, he just came. He's supposed to be working.
Yeah. We love you, Ricky. All right. And let's see. Okay. So this is what we played, 6.5, which is on the single for 6. And again, we played one of the mixes off of this like a couple weeks ago. And I really, really love this cover. It's one of my favorites for the polka dot love and the hat and all that. All right. So what did Prince do this week? As Audra said, it is our 111th episode, and we're week 8 of 1985. It seems like it's such a long 8 weeks because we're in the Purple Rain tour. We're almost getting towards the end of the Purple Rain tour. It's going to end in April, but we have this week 5 live shows, and those shows are in Inglewood, California. And then on Thursday, there is an Around the World in a Day preview at Warner Brothers. I remember reading that article. I can't remember what publication had it, but how he basically previewed the Around the World in a Day album for the executives and how they all sat on the floor. But Duane has a little bit in the book about that, so we'll read it. And I love this ad that was in the Los Angeles Times that Prince of the Revolution thanked, Los Angeles for 6 sold out performances, full page ad. I really, really loved it. I forgot about this, Black Joubert, that the polka dot era in fashion was crazy in the late 80s. That is absolutely correct. And I had totally forgotten about that. So thank you for reminding us. And let's see.
That's funny. I didn't really notice that. I think I really noticed. I always associated with my man Kwame, but that was later, I guess.
Yeah. I think he was probably tired of it sooner than 85, Andre. Just based on, because he's, Arthur always talks about how Prince is always working in 2 different timelines, and he was already working on Around the World in a Day. So I'm sure probably in the entire tour, he really wanted to be in Around the World in a Day mode. And in fact, D68A has a sound check for one of the Inglewood shows, and they were already playing America Live. And remember, Big Sexy last week said like the show that he went to, they played America. So like they were already going to the next, on to the next. So I would think so. Just because how aggressive, he's already previewing the Round Roll in the Day album to the Warner Brother execs. Like, I mean, I'm sure. So, and Michael Dean, you got a Kim. Yes, to the Polka Dots and Kwame.
Mm-hmm.
And D68A has America 42-minute version.
Damn.
And let's see. Glam Slam 88 Polka Dots.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yes, obviously.
Oh.
So I don't know. So Michael Dean, you weren't at the Love Sexy Symposium, but one of my favorite things about the Love Sexy Symposium is that people dressed up in polka dots, and we took a group shot of everybody in their polka dots. That's one of my favorite memories from all of the symposia. All right. So I'm not going to read this article, but I think the title is really funny and a little bit off. And it's called Disco Daughter Overshadows Dad's Jazz. And this article is primarily about Pete Escovedo. And in fact, he was going to be playing a show very soon. And this is from February of 1985. But why is Sheila a disco daughter in 85? Like, we're past the disco era. And I just thought it was just too much shade in terms of overshadowing Dad's Jazz. It's a really interesting article if you want to read it. It's interesting.
Where's it from again? Oh, San Francisco.
San Francisco, yeah. And it's
raw talent. I got it.
Yeah. And yes.
It's a different time.
Yeah. Yeah, it's super weird. But what's interesting is that in the article, he talks about how he doesn't want to play music forever, but obviously he's still playing music now. So it's just kind of interesting how your perspective changes, as you grow older and things of that nature. So it's a really good article if you're up on your Pete Escovedo, who is still, he's still doing his shows. He's still recording. He's pretty phenomenal in his own right. All right.
It's interesting. You see, you brought up, he mentions sort of like taking a break or retiring. Is that what you're saying?
No, not necessarily retiring, but he was just saying how hard it is to be a musician.
Oh, okay.
And I can't remember exactly what he said, but he said something to the effect that he might consider, like going on the road with Sheila just to help her with, management or, and stuff like that. But yeah.
I was thinking, was it around this time where I always remember that news story about Prince where he was saying like he was going to take a break or I don't know if he said retire, but I always remember that talk was kind of like, and then he said, "I'll see you in the ladder." I had no idea what he meant.
Yeah.
What? He's going to take a break.
Yeah, I remember that. So this was not really that, like taking a break. It was more like, it was really hard to be a musician and maybe I need to pivot, basically. So it's a really interesting article. All right. So these are some of my favorite photos of Prince of all time because I love this jacket that he has on. My favorite of these images is the one on the right where Prince is playing the drums. Anytime Prince plays the drums, I kind of freak out. But I love him in this fur-lined jacket. Yeah. It's amazing.
It's almost like that doesn't even that's not even Purple Rain to me. Like I don't know what era that is. That's just because I would trip if he was in the movie and he had like, yo, what, like some kind of purple Jedi master? Or what?
Yeah.
Look.
Now that you're saying this, I'm only understanding this until you just said this, Michael Dean. That's the reason why it's so fantastic to do this with you every week and everybody in the chat, because we make different connections. This reminds me of that outfit that Mr. Terry showed us with the white long cape.
Yeah.
Like that kind of vibe.
Okay.
Yeah. And
you
so
Purple Rain 2 or something.
Yeah. So maybe this was like more, more of that vibe.
Could be actually, yeah.
Which I'm really, really digging. Yes. Long live the Escovedo fam. That is. And are you, TP, are you saying in terms of these photos, it's all of his eras at once? Or are you referring to something else? Yeah, I love these photos. All right. And I don't know who the photographer is. So whenever you see a question mark, that means I need you to help me figure out who the photographer is. So I appreciate it. Okay. So we're going to get started with our reading today. We're going to read about Inglewood. And it is February 18th, since we have different issues of the book. And Michael Dean, do you mind reading this one? It's short.
All right. Monday, February 18th, 1984. Venue, the Forum, Inglewood, California. Capacity 16,000. Sold out, but exact number is unknown. This was the first of 6 sold out shows at the Forum, a feat that had only been accomplished by Led Zeppelin, Rod Stewart, and Neil Diamond. Because of the demand for tickets, Prince was also scheduled an additional 3 shows at the nearby Long Beach Arena for early March. Although the 6 shows at the Forum were all sold out and the audience often drowned out the performance with their enthusiasm, the reviews were positive, but with the caveat. Richard Cromlin of the Los Angeles Times wrote that the show was as fascinating as it was indulgent, and that Prince becomes so self-absorbed in his struggle of spirit versus flesh that he loses sight of such things as joy and spontaneity. But the payoffs are worth the risks and losses.
All right. And we have the actual entire review to read later on. So, because Los Angeles Times is actually an important newspaper. This is a ticket from the February 18th show. I love that it has at the Fabulous Forum. And then I also love that Sheila E. is pretty much getting the same billing in terms of just a type size as Prince and the Revolution, which is really fantastic if you think about it. All right, here's some photos, I think from February 18th, that this is what the photo was dated, so hopefully it is. And you got your, I call it the 1999 purple lame jacket, and love this shot. And here's another one, you know how I love my smoke, so, and he's just looking so cool, like the rock star that he is.
Yeah, now that you said 1999, now it looks like, yeah, this is the 1999 era or something. That's what
Yes.
it looks like. It's just that it's more, bigger or grand or I don't know. Sizzle is a little more sizzling.
That's right, Michael D. The sizzle is a little more sizzling. You know, that's what I found interesting about Prince during this period is that, especially with the stage setup, if you go to Controversy from 1999 to Purple Rain, it's pretty much the same stage setup. And so for me, it's like, I don't know. I always feel like most people say, most people, and my friend, brother Arthur says that Dirty Mind is the linchpin, but I think that Controversy is the linchpin and is sort of the blueprint of how Prince becomes Prince in really, really big letters just because of that evolution. But it's just me.
Yeah, I could see that. It's almost as if I agree with that. I would almost, you could say that in a grander way, 1999 is the Dirty Mind to Purple Rain. Like it's the next album is the one that really stamps that sort of, vibe or something. But they are both albums that are carried over from something else.
For sure. Amazing. So K Cool Music said that they were at the tour stop at the Forum in Inglewood. Would you want to come on and talk about that? If so, just email wdpddw@gmail.com. I can't say that really fast for some reason. Oh, I'm hearing a lot of great things about this Becoming Led Zeppelin. Have you seen it yet, Michael Dean?
I haven't seen it. No, I have heard of it, but is it a documentary or something?
Yeah, it's a documentary. It's a documentary about Led Zeppelin's first two albums, and it's literally about how they become Led Zeppelin. And it's similar to the David Bowie documentary Moon Age Daydream, where it's just footage of Led Zeppelin, like no talking heads.
Oh, okay.
I'm really looking forward to that.
We see you, Dre. You just coming from the dentist's office. Drive home safe. Would you get a cleaning? Mouth. What side is numb?
We hope that your mouth heals very, very soon. It sucks to go to the dentist. All right, welcome, Lee Christian.
Here he is.
And Lee is working on a potential cover of I Rock, Therefore I Am. Love that.
Interesting. What about Dear Mr. Man? I'm just joking.
All right, Michael. And then we have K Cool Music that says that they were sitting right behind the late Pee Wee Herman, whom was a big Prince fan. There were a lot of people or a lot of celebrities who came out to the Inglewood show.
Pee Wee Herman? I'm just picking that up late.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. You sat behind Pee Wee? Pause. Some of y'all might get that.
Yes.
That's actually double. That's double. There's actually layers to that. There's the Pee Wee just in the name, but then there's what he's infamous for. You wouldn't want to sit behind that, but never mind.
And I am so jealous of Drea dances. Every time I go to the dentist, I get cavities. So, you're amazing. Awesome. So we would love to have you on if you want to come on.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And even if you can just do your audio if you don't want to be seen, we'd love to have you on, Cynic. Let's see. And
it's what's in the cup is water. You're just getting raw, uncut. That's all.
All right.
Anyway, let's get back to D'Angelo.
We're going to get back to this amazing photo of Prince during my favorite part of the well, not the favorite, but the part I always look forward to is Computer Blue. And these are some Computer Blue shots. He always looks great with the cape and the scarf around his, eyes. I really love this shot, the blues, and that's part of the scarf. I was trying to figure out, like, what the heck is that to the right? But it's a scarf going up.
That look is a step up, in my opinion, from what he was doing before. I just think for like that visual with the thing I see with the thing on thing on his face, and then whatever you call that kind of cape. What's interesting in my mind when I see it, he looks like a sexy black version of Luke Skywalker from Tatooine. Like at the beginning, Luke has a similar. He has a shirt on, but he has that kind of shawl thing when they go to Mos Eisley. I was like, oh, this is like the sexy, saying, like seductive, like, because he's on a whole different vibe. No shirt, and he got and then the gloves. I mean, that's like high level. That's the Prince that's coming out the bathtub in When Doves Cry video. Like that's the next level. Like it's about to go down. Saying like, wow, okay.
You know what? Now that you're saying that, Michael, like this Prince, this look is very similar to this Prince.
In a sense, yeah.
In terms of versus this Prince, right? So yeah, I love this Prince.
And then when you see him in the video, I mean in the movie though, it's like sweat drenched. You know what I'm saying? Listen. I'm just saying, the straight dude is glistening.
I'm talking
like, a different level.
Look at LTK's comment. That's what I'm laughing at.
Skywalker, hilarious.
Oh my God, that was pretty funny. I love this memory 10. He was lacing it up, Michael Dean.
He was doing something. I mean, and then the pants, It's kind of lace on the back. I mean, that was just he was so bold. Excuse me, I got ice in my mouth. But the level of confidence is fantastic, man. Like,
Yes.
fantastic.
That's one of the things that drew me to Prince was his level of confidence. Because I still don't have that level of confidence. It's something to aspire to. And everybody in the chat, super funny today. Thank you for that. We need some humor.
All right. Go on. We see the picture. Go ahead and.
So we should know this is most likely during Baby I'm a Star. Somewhere in there, because he always wears this white outfit, and you can see Wendy in the red to the right. All right, so the next night in Inglewood is Tuesday, and you can see the ticket again and something like a pass. I wish I knew what this pass was for. I'm assuming it says Forum Club. Maybe it was backstage. If anybody knows what this Forum Club pass is about, please let me know. And then here's another photo, again, very 1999 / Purple Rain because of the lame jacket. You've seen this photo a lot, but I still love it. It's a great iconic shot. And okay, I gotta put this comment up with this picture. Whoops. There you go. So
that's one of those pictures that, the kids they post on social now and be like, is this your king? Or, like, hey.
Yeah.
I can't call it. The ladies love it. So it's all good.
And D688 says he replaced the blindfold from automatic with a lace face mask. Never thought about that.
Okay.
Awesome. Okay. Let's see. All right.
Sort of a preview of Christopher Tracy, parade tour coming out at the beginning, just that confident, like the show starts with no shirt. Like it's on and popping when they start the show. It's like, whoa, what was he doing?
Yes. Okay, awesome. So the iconic photo, let me go back to that so I can put it back to have the comment on there. At the same time, from D68 said that the photo is definitely Michael Montfort. Thank you so much for that.
Okay.
And then is it Black Chabert says $17.50 for a ticket. Yes. And are those tickets really $1,000 for Beyonce and Taylor?
I think so, yeah.
I haven't. That's insane.
And he'd be sold out. It's crazy.
Wow. Incredible.
Entertainment tonight.
That's right. I love this shot of Prince. Just how gestural it is and having a full body shot, which is kind of rare. Yeah, okay, good point. They can't make money anymore in the music, so we want them to continue to make music, so we have to do it.
Couldn't offset that with an OnlyFans page?
Michael. Yes, I would love to have those 19. You know what? Actually, when Mohini Day was at the Blue Note, I told you guys about in January, her tickets were only $25, which was incredible. And I had a lot of respect for that. All right. And here's another photo. Go ahead, Michael.
No, I like that picture. That's cool.
Yeah, it's cool, and it has a feather boa. I don't know why that leaves my mental Rolodex. Sometimes I have to, like, what is that thing? I'm not used to all that glamour. The feather boa. And here's another one.
Wow.
It's dance on. All right, another ticket. Wear something purple at the forum. And all right. Yes. I'm going to read this. I don't know why. I'm unfortunately that yellow block is in the wrong place. So I'm going to read this. And this is from the Los Angeles Times. And it's called For Prince's Concert. It's a Reign of Rock by Richard Crommelin, who Duane just wrote about. When a rock artist makes a movie, it's usually to express things that can't be conveyed in mere songs and concerts. Prince's movie Purple Rain, however, is a hoary, and that's HOARY, melodrama that pales next to the eccentric, chancy, ambitious show the singer offered Monday at the Forum, where he attempted to transform inner turmoil into galvanizing rock spectacle. In other words, he's saying that the concert is better than the movie. You can say one thing for Purple Rain: it did the job of making Prince a huge star. Of course, all he really needed to do was put himself up there for all to see. Once the mainstream audience got a load of the seductive sexual renegade and his state-of-the-art neo-gospel electro-funk music, it didn't take long for them to join the core following that had been with him all along. He now commands a strikingly diverse audience that cuts across age, race, social, and gender divisions. The celebrity side Monday included Elizabeth Taylor in the front row. Under the circumstances, Prince could have gotten away with a safe run-through of the Purple Rain soundtrack and other assorted hits. Instead, he took the risk of losing his audience as he filled the arena with an interior dialogue that was as fascinating as it was indulgent, which is what Duane took from this review. Monday's concert, the first of 6 sold-out shows at the Forum, started straightforward enough, opening with Purple Rain's hyped-up benediction, Let's Go Crazy, and moving into a series of songs from 1999, the 1982 album that set him up for his move into the stratosphere. Embodying elements of James Brown, Little Richard, and Jimi Hendrix, the brocade-clad dynamo belied his delicate appearance with some moves that should go right into the Rock Hall of Fame, which eventually it did, which is kind of incredible to think about. And the best one, he made a diving swipe at the bike stand and hit the floor in time to catch it and keep on singing. I really love that he's pointing this out in terms of just like how great of a performer he is. Mm-hmm. And then he writes, then it got strange. The stage darkened while the drummer hammered out a military tattoo. A couple mounted a platform and gazed at flashing abstract images as if watching TV. And we know that to be Wendy and Brown Mark. Then embraced and reclined. Tattered curtains hanging from the ceiling waved in a breeze. Chirping birds, I love the chirping birds, and a faint glow created a sunrise atmosphere. Prince reappeared, sitting at the piano and singing a smoldering falsetto ballad. Then he spoke of a fierce battle and admonished, love one another. Do you believe in love? All of a sudden, we were part of a crisis of conscious psychodrama as Prince teased and flirted with the audience, struggled with temptation, looked heavenward and talked to an angry God, blamed us for making him bad, and contemplated the nature of love and lust and of life and death. Voices boomed from the far corners as Prince moaned, I'm so confused. He removed his shirt, stepped into a bathtub, arched his back as if jolted by an electric shock, and slowly descended into the abyss. The perplexing nature of this apocalyptic morality play was eased when Prince, in progressively more resplendent finery, brought the set to a peak with a haunting When Doves Cry. He finished off the evening with Purple Rain, that stately anthem of solace and cleansing. Prince's barrage of carnal and religious imagery is sometimes cumbersome, sometimes disquieting, and at times he becomes so self-absorbed in his struggle of spirit versus flesh that he loses sight of such things as joy and spontaneity. But the payoffs are worth the risks and losses.
Okay, interesting hearing all of this. Yeah. We've talked about this part in the show before, but I feel like hearing the way he just described it, and then as I think about some of the people's reactions to like Kendrick or Lamar's performance in context of it being on this, the grand stage, and you're just supposed to just get up there and sing and dance and make us feel good. I love the fact that these artists actually understand what they're doing. They have to go up there and do their show and sing and dance. But I love that, like Prince in this instance, at his height, is taking the time to, no, I want to put this message. This is what I want to talk. This is the message that I want to put forth, even if it comes off as weird or why is he doing this in the middle of a concert? Because this is art. Like he's doing this is what wants to present and what he's dealing with, and I love that he's talking about spirituality and all these sort of conflicting things. I think that's dope. Like an artist could actually do that. It doesn't always work, but at least they've put an effort forth to do something more than just singing and dancing. And again, like that kind of makes me think of this Kendrick thing. Like I see people, oh, yeah, it's not what you expected on a spectacle stage like that, but maybe this would be the start of the high art hip hop era or something where now brothers is gonna really be, giving something more than just like somebody said in the chat, just walking back and forth on the stage. So that's dope that Prince was doing that so early on. It's interesting.
For sure. All right, I'm gonna keep it moving. And let's see. So actually, Cynic says, and before we go to the next one, Cynic says that in real time, I thought the religious aspect was shtick. I mean, I personally didn't get that. I'm curious, Michael, what was your take in real time?
I didn't know what to make of it in real time. I was what 16 years old or something. So I knew of the church because grew up in the church, but I just was just like, to me, it was like something to get into because I was like, oh, yeah, I never thought about that type of stuff, and the fact that, I very much idolized, starting to really get into Prince, we're young and you have these people, artists that you love. I love that he was going into this. And then when Around the World in a Day comes out with Temptation, it all just clicked in. I was like, oh, this dude was like doing this early, like this, so it just made it seem even more like, yo, this is deep. So I loved it.
So, Cynic, what's really funny about me, and even to this day, I take things sometimes a little too literally. So when I saw the cross, even with the cross in the shower in the controversy poster, I was like, he is religious. And so that's just, how I took it in real time. That's just me. All right. So I want to read this article because I think it's really interesting to hear about how I don't know how to say this, Minneapolitans, like the people from Minneapolis thought of Prince. So this is called Fans Flock to Prince's Purple House. And this is from the Associated Press. And this was originally published in Chanhassen, Minnesota. Though he painted his house in eye-popping purple and attracts a steady stream of fans, most people on his block say rock star Prince is a good neighbor who keeps his lawn mowed and waves when he zips by in his sports car. We don't have any trouble, said Mary Jane Eckholt, who lives across the street from Prince but has never met him. If he wanted to come over for coffee, he would be welcome. Prince, star of the hit movie Purple Rain, bought a large ranch-style home by a secluded lake in the quiet Minneapolis suburb of Chanhassen in 1981. 2 years later, he painted the cream-colored house purple, his favorite color. Dottie Busher, who lives a few doors away from Prince, said, I like him very much as my neighbor. He's very quiet. He keeps his yard in very good shape. As for the purple house, Busher said, I don't mind that one bit. I find that very attractive. But one neighbor said, I can't understand what kind of privacy you get by painting your house purple and putting a cyclone fence around it. In a rustic neighborhood of upper middle class homes, Prince's prominent purple residence has become a shrine for fans who clogged a narrow dead-end street in front of his home on weekends, waiting for a glimpse of the reclusive rock star. The verdict on Prince's taste in house painting is not unanimous. I didn't think there was much neighborhood reaction to Prince until he painted his house purple, and that freaked everybody out, said one neighbor, who spoke only on condition that his name not be used. Where everybody has a nice-looking house, and to paint his house purple, that's just ridiculous, the neighbor said. The biggest thing is the added traffic on a quiet, dead-end street. It's just gone bananas. It was real quiet until his movie came out last summer, said Jane Mossman, 34, a registered nurse who lives about a block from Prince. Purple Rain brought Prince nationwide attention, and the Minneapolis-born musician installed an 8-foot-high chain-link fence around his house, Mossman said. She also said the house now is ringed with security lights that burn 24 hours a day, and bodyguards live with Prince whenever he is home. So I thought it was great that it was mixed reactions and it wasn't just like totally, they want him out of the neighborhood. So it's nice to see a mix. All right. Michael Dean, do you mind doing some reading since I've been reading a lot? Thursday, February 21st.
Yes. Start with the quote, or
yeah, let's do the quote.
All right. So location, dig if you will, a picture. Warner Brothers Records offices, Burbank, California. So this is like a corporate office environment. Alan leads his quote. Once again, he was faced with, how do you follow something? Here was this fabulously, remarkably successful product, Purple Rain. Anything you do fails in comparison. So what's the age-old answer? Do something opposite, do something different. Prince previewed his next album Around the World in the Day for Warner Brothers executives at a hastily arranged listening party at the company's main offices in Burbank, California. Prince had someone call Warner Brothers executive Mo Austin's office at noon. He wanted to come over at 4 o'clock and play the album for key execs, and it was up to Mo to put the group of people together for the conference run. Recalled Mary Lou. I'm sorry, how do you say her last name?
Ado.
Did I interview Mary Lou?
I think you did, didn't you?
Shout out to Mary Lou. The research director for the label's Black music department. I must say, from a personal standpoint, I had been a little concerned about Prince. I wasn't sure where his head was at. I was a little concerned just how he was emotionally. That's interesting. The conference room was cleared out. The table and most of the chairs were removed. The lighting was muted, and flowers were spread on the floor. Prince's stepbrother, Duane, was leading the security and entered with Prince, Wendy, and Lisa, and they were joined by Joni Mitchell and Prince's father, John L. Nelson. Badeau, continued. They're all holding flowers. Prince is holding flowers. We're like high Ashbury. He sits down basically next to me on the floor, and Wendy and Lisa are within a couple of feet. He doesn't say a word.
Skip the quote.
All right. The executives seemed confused. Coming off the biggest album of the year, they expected it to be similar, but Around the World in a Day went in a direction they hadn't anticipated. So all of the plans they had for promotion had to be changed, and it was apparent on many of their faces, as Badeau recalls. On the part of the Warner people, what are we going to do with this? It's interesting, but it isn't commercial. I remember distinctly that Wendy, who came up to me afterwards and said, "Do you think they liked it?" She was worried. Prince had left by then. I said, "Wendy, it's a wonderful album." I knew the other execs were waiting for Purple Rain 2. I also knew in my heart he wouldn't ever deliver Purple Rain 2 then or ever. He did it. He'd been there. He moved on. That's the way he operates. People would look at how Prince would look at how some people reacted to the album and make a more psychological view. People think, oh, the new album isn't half as powerful as Purple Rain or 1999. You know how easy it would have been to open Around the World in a Day with the guitar solo that's at the end of Let's Go Crazy? You know how easy it would have been to just put it in a different key? That would have shut everybody up who said the album wasn't half as powerful. Eric Leeds remembers Prince's attitude at the time. Read this one.
No, we'll skip that.
All right. Last part here said, look, he could have kept making Purple Rains, reasoned Matt Fink. We had like 40 additional songs from that album alone. He wanted to do Around the World in a Day to clear the air, change the dial. I think he thought, oh my God, Purple Rain is my thriller. Now what? I'll never top it. So I'll just experiment, change direction, and reinvent the wheel.
All right. So my personal take on this, and I could be totally wrong, is that Prince would have done something different anyway, because that's what he's always done. If you have been following his career. And I love this quote from EA that pretty much says the same thing, but more succinctly and concisely and clearly. Warner Brothers didn't learn anything from the previous albums. It should have been like super clear. So, and yes, Around the World Today is excellent. That's right. Go ahead, Michael.
I could see both points. I can see both sides. I can see Prince's side of wanting to do something different and moving quickly. And I can also see it from the record company's point of view. Like, you know, this is the biggest thing you've done. It's super successful. Why can't, you know, yeah, we should continue with this. I can see both sides. And I think whatever way they would have, I think what happened with the release was exactly what was supposed to happen. But I could also see, like, if he did come out with something that more along the lines of 1999 and proper, I could have also seen that been super successful, and that would have happened the way it was supposed to happen. I think his career would have probably been the same anyway in the long run. But I don't know. It's just thought.
Yeah.
I mean, it's got burners on this album, you know, no doubt about it. I think to me, when I think Around the World in a Day, it's almost more like, I feel like the image change was a bigger shocker than the music. Like, songs are great. Like, I don't, you know, Raspberry Beret still blows, you know, it still does its thing. I just think the overall swift visual presentation difference is probably more of a shocker. The fact that it seemed like he pulled back from being visible, which is the odd thing somebody would do at the height of, you know, everyone seeing me. Like, he was like, no videos or no things. I think that was almost the difference to me, because musically, I think it's just as dope as the other stuff.
Yeah, I agree too. And I think another thing is that Prince could have rode Purple Rain until the wheels fell off. I mean, it still had like a lot of gas left in the tank in terms of he could have toured overseas, which he didn't do. He only toured in the States. He could have released like more singles. Yeah, so that's me. Let's see. And Cynic is saying, I don't think Prince realized how much cachet he would lose immediately in Warner Brothers' eyes. Yeah. And
I don't know, they still, I mean, they still did whatever he wanted to do. They didn't have to put that record out. Like, they put that out quickly in the way he wanted to put it out. You know, they still go full on with the other albums he wants to do. I feel like Warner Brothers still had it. I mean, they was backing him heavy. I mean, any record company that would allow you to pull a record after it's already been pressed up, they got your back. You know, that's you know what I'm saying? Like,
I'm sorry. See Lee's comment. Prince is like my wife. She doesn't like leftovers. She's always cooking a new meal. So yeah, I get it. All right. So this is a ticket that was signed. It's actually a Purple Rain ticket, but the back of it, this person got Prince's signing on the day of that Warner Brothers listening party. So just want to show. And then
I wish there was video footage of that. That would have been interesting.
Yeah.
And walking in with
photos. Yeah, I would just even to see some photos of that would be really, really incredible. And let's see. I love this quote from Blade Brown. Blade is saying, it would be a jarring visual to see Purple Rain era Prince actually writing and recording those Around the Rolling Day tracks. Especially in real time, because there was so much time in between the album releases and we weren't getting a lot of information like you do now with social media and all that and Entertainment Tonight about what's going on. So we had to wait. So it just like, I thought of those eras very discreetly because of the, you know, the release dates and things, but it wasn't. So it's, yeah, that would have been very, very jarring.
Oh, I wanted to ask you this question. When you read that article about what he was presenting the album to the label and they walking with the flower, what did you think back then when you read that? Like,
I thought that I mean, I'm going to be honest. I was I'm a teenager, Michael, so you have to remember this, right? I'm just excited that a new Prince album is coming out. You know what I mean? Like that was my thing, like let's get like because I had seen the Purple Rain tour, unlike the Europeans. So I had already got my Purple Rain fix and I was like ready because you have to understand like Prince was so prolific in terms of like almost an album every year. I mean, it was just like, so I was ready. So, we got Purple Rain in 84. It's time for a new album. I didn't know what it was going to be in 85. So it was just like, I was, I was really locked into those releases like that because I had to save up my money and all that. So,
yeah. I was like, I remember reading that and this the description of them, like, he didn't say anything and they had, they're walking in with flowers. I was like, well, he's on. I was like, is he sad or something? Like, what was I was like, I didn't know what to make. Because again, all I really knew was the movie,
yeah.
and that what I thought he was. And so I was just like, man, is something going on? Like, why is he presenting it to him that way? Is he okay? Or
Yeah. I didn't, unfortunately, I didn't have a lot of empathy, I guess, in my heart. I just like skipped all of that. And I was like, new Prince album.
like, damn him.
So, again, I mean, it's a long story. It's just a long story. So, yes, I agree. The Around the Rolling Day confirmed his genius. Let's see.
I used to think that back then. I don't think that anymore. Not saying it's not a great album. I don't. No, I was saying when I remember we always say that album was the album that confirmed his genius. So I just remember like back in the day, oh, if you like this album, then you really like Prince. And I used to think that, but now I think of it. To me, that album doesn't seem very different from the stuff he was doing to me. Just now that I sort of know these songs, it just seems like I said, to me, musically, it just sounds like this. It sounds like something he did during Purple Rain tour.
Yeah. I mean,
that's not a bad thing. I'm just saying, like, it doesn't sound like it's some otherworldly Prince or something, but
yeah, I guess, I mean, for me in real time, like, and every album confirmed his genius. So,
right.
So it was, and like Prince, I can't remember the exact quote, but whenever, they would ask him what was his favorite album, he would say, this one or the next one, whatever that quote is. So it's always about like the now.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Like I would say, like an album, like a sign. Just me personally, a Sign of Times, or even like a Rainbow Children. To me, that would be like, to me, that would confirm his genius. Or even like Parade. Actually, I would say Parade is way more next level than Around the World in a Day. Yeah, if Parade would have been the next album after Purple Rain, that would have been really ridiculous.
Yeah, that would have
in terms of the musicianship and everything. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah. So Nick, once we get to that part, we're going to really dig into that because I think, and I'm glad that you're putting this in my head because it will be interesting can't remember in real time how it was advertised because again, I was a little person and I was just saving my lunch money to make sure I had enough money to buy all the albums and the singles and things. And unless Entertainment Tonight covered it, I'm just kidding. All right.
What was the lady's name that was now I got it.
Oh, I can see her name. I can see her, but I can't remember her name. Yes, I'm sure Kim knows. Kim, let us know. Let's see. And it says Kim says Around the Rolling Day was a return.
Mary Hart. Sorry, I just had
That's right. Mary Hart. That's right. That is right. I spent a lot of time with Mary Hart.
Lisa Gibbons.
Who's Lisa Gibbons? That Lisa Follow?
She was another host, I believe.
Oh, okay. I remember that name, but yeah, for me it was Mary Hart. That's when I think of Entertainment Tonight, that's who I think of in my mind's eye. So Duke Swan is saying that Around the Rolling Day in real time did sound different.
Yeah, in real time. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, this is so nice, Theo. So Theo recently gifted their family friend who attended the Tacoma show with Around the World Day on vinyl. She loved the album. She only knew Raspberry Beret. She was one of those Purple Rain fans. Thank you, Theo. I know what you mean. I don't know if other people know what you mean, but I appreciate that. And El Michelle agrees with you, Michael. Parade is next level. And Sakia saying Signs of Times and Rainbow Children. And Blake Brown saying, hearing some of these stories seemed like the label gave him a bit of leeway. He would just walk in with an album, no micromanagement in between that. I think it was a bit sometimes maybe some passive aggressive stuff on the side of the record company, just based on some things that I've read and heard, or they would try to, like Sign of Times going from 3 albums to 2, like they were doing a bit of twisting his arm a little bit.
Which I could understand their reasoning behind that. It'd been different if he'd have came after Purple Rain and said, I want to do a third album, 3 albums. You'd be like, yeah, please, can you do 4? Like,
yeah.
But after a couple of
Yeah. All right.
Hey.
What up?
Hey, what's going on? Sorry I'm late. I know y'all got my message, right?
No.
Oh. I think I sent it in the chat like a while ago, but it's all good.
Yeah, it's okay. Welcome.
Thank you. What's up, MD?
What's up, man? Just making up. Oh, I saw what you was recording or something.
Yeah, I was working on something, man.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, man, got some instrumental albums, man. I'm trying to finish, so I got them.
Okay, Levi.
Yeah. Gotta get focused. Gotta get focused. And Mom called this morning, kind of threw my schedule off, but it's all good.
Oh, you gotta talk to the mom.
Always, right? Always. You know what I'm saying? They were like, well, I didn't want nothing. Like 40 minutes later, you still on the phone, but it's all good. Love my mom.
Man, hey, you gotta love that, man. Cause
yeah, man. Yeah.
Moms, they ain't always be here. That's dope.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So I catch those calls, man. So whenever I can. Studio hey, man, you know what?
Turn me up.
Hey, Studio I will, but when you got your own dog and some stuff, boy, you feel like you got your own little personal Paisley Park, I tell you.
Maybe they can start selling that.
Hey, so man, they have it's a plug-in where you could get from Sunset Sound.
Oh, word.
You could upload it on your stuff, man, and get like the Sunset Sound like console type stuff, plugins, if you're familiar, I know with plugins, it makes it, you get to use instrument mixes, stuff like that.
Edition. Get that 86, 87.
Yeah, the 84, shoot, 80. I know 82 to 84 stuff. You know what I'm saying?
I can see that being sold too.
Yeah, man. I know a friend of mine has it. He digs it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, so if you're into sound or some engineers and stuff like that, man, it'd pretty, some pretty dope to have. Oh yeah, man. I know what's up with everybody in the chat.
Susan Rogers pack.
Hey man, I know like y'all remember, I don't know if y'all remember, but like in like 2000 or 2001, Prince was selling this
the sample.
Yeah, man. The sample disc set.
I have some of that somewhere.
Do you? Man. Yeah.
The thought of it though is fantastic.
Yeah, I wish they would have. I don't think it hit the market like that, but
yeah, I don't know if it actually came out all the way.
Yeah,
some of it was done.
Yeah, some of it got some leaks, but that would be Hey Estates. That would be a good idea to do that.
So really quickly, I want to share, see if you can see what I'm saying. Yes, this is Prince Vault. And on Prince Vault, you can see that Around the World in a Day did go double platinum on July 2nd, 1985. And then it went gold in the UK on April 22nd, 1985. So It did really well. It just didn't do as well as Purple Rain. And unfortunately, they were using that as now his. Ricky, do you mind muting yourself when you're not talking? Because I can hear doubles. And then it just made his bar higher that they wanted him to reach with every single album. So it did really, really well, but not to the level of, yep, I agree. So, and then I put this up before, but I'm going to put it up again because I agree with this so much. You know, Prince, in my opinion, was incapable of flopping. It was just, you know, his different audience, because he has different audience base depending on the album, right? And so sometimes those fans don't go to the next album. So,
And there was a lot of competition back then. Like this is a different world. I mean, there was a lot of heavy hitters coming out with stuff back then. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
It's not like there's a lot going on.
Yep, and you can see on Prince Vault that again, around Rolling Day, it went to #1 for 3 weeks on the Billboard Top Pop albums, and it was on the charts for 40 weeks, which is pretty good in my personal opinion. It actually was #1 on the pop albums, but only #4 on the black albums, top black albums. But it was on for 43 weeks. So I think that means that it did really, really well.
And this is and we'll talk about it later. He's not doing promotion for it. It's not like he's out there. And there was no single or no video. So it was just purely on the strength of the success that came before, you know. He was like, yeah, just let it ride on its own. So yeah, I mean, did great. And it was considered different from what, you know. Again, it would be like whoever's hitting today, it would be like, some might not like this. It would be like, to me, like Beyonce coming out with a country album. The biggest difference is that the machine is behind Beyonce in a whole other way that was never behind a Prince. Some of those machine parts didn't exist when Prince was doing his thing. So he just went and did something that may be perceived different, but he was still doing the same music he had been done, just the way it was presented. But, you know, today you can do something like that, but if you got the whole game on your back, the shit gonna blow. Even when they have opposition to it, as we see today with her, she still rose through that and did it with success. And the same way, to me, Prince, even if there was some opposition to his method of promoting it, still was successful enough that we rocked with it. So,
I mean, you know, like y'all said, the competition then was way more different than what it is now. Because I mean, like hip hop was building up some steam. Because right around this time, I think that little record like Roxanne was blowing up. I know it spawned a whole lot of spinoffs, but it was like it was catching fire the early part of '85. It was huge, and so, you know, the fair weather fans had kind of, you know, they experienced Purple Rain, you know, from July like '84 to maybe November '84, and then they were on to something else. You know, those of us in for the long haul were, you know, like in it to win it. And so, you know,
what I'm gonna say. Well, no, it's a different machine, sir. I'm talking about like those are just the managers clicked in. I'm talking about when you got tech companies, music companies, video, Amazon. It's a whole different Spotify. It's a whole different play. It's all intercut today, where they're not going to lose. They're so invested in what she got going on. There's no way they're not going to win. You know what I'm saying? That's why, yeah, they're going to get, you need that Grammy of the year. Damn what that country organization's talking about, the overall corporations, we're not losing. You know what I'm saying? So it's a whole different game. You know, Prince, like you said, he had MTV and Warner Brothers, but they didn't have all those other ancillary companies that are bigger than the record company that are invested into what he was doing. So just a different game, in my opinion.
And we can respectfully disagree. That's because
No, we can't. Goddamn.
yeah. And that's what the salon is all about.
Meet me outside. Meet me outside.
Right.
No, we're not.
I'm doing a whole bunch of diss videos on my man. It's on.
All right. I'm going to read the next article, our final article of the day. And this is just like a couple more reviews of the Inglewood shows. And another reviewer, Todd Everett of the Los Angeles Herald Examiner. And I couldn't find this. So if anybody has this clipped out, please send it to me. Todd Everett, Los Angeles Herald Examiner, described the show as a 3-ring circus. Complete, maybe. I wonder.
3-ring circus.
I wonder if he saw this and made a song around it. I don't know. Complete with multiple costume changes, creative lighting effects, and smoke enough for a dozen Irwin Allen movies. I don't know my Irwin Allen. Do I have my movie lovers in the house?
I've heard of this. I've heard of him. I can't think of what his names are.
Okay. Among other special effects. Even a person who can't appreciate Prince's music should be dazzled by the sheer spectacle of the event, Everett wrote. Everett noted that the audience contained a broad cross-section of America with fans ranging in age from their teens to the mid-30s, not including Taylor, who turns 53 on February 27th. And then the other review was from Jonathan Taylor of the Los Angeles Daily News. And again, if anybody has this, please send it to me because I couldn't find it. It was an awesome beginning, and predictably, he couldn't top it. Sure, there were plenty more highlights for the rest of the 2-hour show, but they were marred by the kind of self-indulgent overkill that also undermines his records.
Wow.
So he was a little bit more critical.
Overkill that undermines his records?
Yes.
Never heard that.
Yes. Basically, he's saying he's doing too much.
Interesting.
Yes. So everybody has different opinions. Let's see what's going on in the chat. Oh, yeah. Okay. Thank you, Kenneth. Did the TV series Lost in Space, which I watched a lot. So thank you very much for letting us know that.
Danger, Will Robinson. Yeah. Danger.
Yes. And actually, I have this in the accompanying playlist for this week, Sakia, the Will Smith interview where he talks about talking to Prince 8 hours before he died and what they discussed. So that's in the accompanying playlist for the week. Yes, I agree. I'm forever grateful that my life aligned with Prince's in real time. It's really amazing. For me, that's just my experience, but I'm not trying to gloat or anything. It's just I'm really, really grateful. So I didn't realize that Warner Brothers owned MTV. Thanks for that. Let's see. Let's see.
That's a cold piece of work if that's true, because they wasn't playing Prince and they owned it.
Yeah.
Here's what they think about you.
Yeah, that's actually, thank you for that, Michael, because you're absolutely right about that. Let's see. Annabelle is saying, do Prince's diehard fans acknowledge his bad releases, or do we seek to grasp a liking for all his music based on creativity? I can tell you personally, Arms of Orion. Oh, okay. So basically, I didn't like every single song Prince has ever done, but I never, any album that I got, I knew that there would be at least one song that would just make the purchase of that album. I mean, obviously there were more than one song, but there is always something on a Prince album, even if you don't like it in its totality, that is special. That's my personal opinion. So
yeah, I think everybody. I think a lot of us are like to the point where we want to hear like every piece of music that he recorded, good or bad. So, you know, all I say it all the time. All the pieces to the puzzle matter. All the albums, like, I mean, to the grand scheme matter. I mean, whether they're your favorite or not. You know what I'm saying? You know. Then, like D'Angelo said, it's always I like to say it's always gonna be one or two, man, to make you kind of scratch your head and be like, come back to this later, Prince. You know, and then years later you get it, you're like, oh, okay, yeah, it's grown on me. You know, some of them don't, but again, like all the pieces to the puzzle matter. So I take them all.
I think that's a really good point, Ricky. And like for me, I only understand certain songs as I've gotten older. For instance, in 91, I wasn't feeling Diamonds and Pearls, the song. I'm sorry. It was slow. It was just like, but I was 20. I was 20 years old when Diamonds and Pearls came out. But now I think it's actually like a classic. It should go into the standard repertoire, you know, like all those jazz standards. I think Diamonds and Pearls could just, you know, I'm surprised it's not covered, you know, like people don't cover it because it's a beautiful song. But, you know, in real time, I wasn't listening to Diamonds and Pearls, the song. I was listening to Get Off because that was like my speed at the time, right? So that's me.
Okay. I see you.
Mike, what about you?
The only album that I hated, using strong words, upon release was Batman.
What?
Yeah, I remember we were so hyped. I was heavy and you know, I was so heavy and I love sexy. And I remember getting Batman. I liked Bat Dance. That was a big song, if you remember. That was a huge song, just in general. But I remember getting that cassette tape and playing that. And I feel like it came out right before the movie. And
Yeah,
that was
it
a big deal too. The Batman thing. You think the superhero movies was hyped today? There's nothing compared to when that first Batman dropped. Like everyone had the symbol. Blah, blah, blah. But when I got that first album, I just couldn't understand it. I thought it was such a step. I mean, I listened to it once, and I like Bad Dance and Vicky Waiting. The rest of it, I just couldn't. I wasn't ready for it, and I thought it was terrible. And so for like a week, I didn't play it, and I was mad at the movie too. I was like, "That movie sucked," and I just was like, ah. But slowly, I started listening to it, and I was like, "Yo, what the hell was I thinking?" But it took me a while to get into that. I just felt like sonically it was different than kind of what was going on before, and not in the way that I wanted it to go. I wanted him to be more back to that traditional guitar, you know, Prince type thing in my mind, and he was going in a different direction. So that was the one initially that it took me a minute to get into, and the other one would be Chaos and Disorder. When it first dropped, I wasn't trying to hear that at all.
Yeah, I mean, you know, kind of like D'Angelo said, you know, for a lot of us, like back in the day, you know, man, the releases were such an event. It was like felt like forever between albums.
It did. It really did.
I know, because you were getting singles, and so every time something new, just the inkling, or I mean, reading in Rolling Stone or hearing on MTV News, hey, Prince has a new album coming out. You was like, oops, okay, let's put some money aside, and then you got ready for it, and you know, like whether you liked it or not, it was going to be a roller coaster. It was going to take you up, it's going to take you down. You know, might take you around the corner. You might be like, man, I don't like this ride. You know, I ain't doing this one no more. Or you just waited for the next one. Like, okay, well, what's he gonna come with? See, because even like Mike said, like Batman, he wasn't feeling it, you know. But then after that, like the very next year, and then you get like Graffiti Bridge.
And I love that off the rip.
Yeah. So, you know, it you know, like I just appreciate, man, the ride of it all. Just like the excitement of like every year. For for almost 3 decades, you know, just getting an album like every year, just like okay. Whereas, you know, man, some other people took like 3 to 4 years to do an album.
Right.
You know, I could always count on Prince to kind of get me through, you know, man, the year with like a release, and especially, you know, when some of them came out during school time, you know, like the fall or the spring. Oh man, boy, they came right on time.
So one of the comments I want to show is from Blatchubear. And Blatchubear said, for me, it was Love Sexy. that made me look at my stereo and said, you dropped this after the amazing Sign of the Times. I like some songs from Love Sexy, but as a whole, nah. So as most of you know, I am a massive Love Sexy fan, but am I hating on Black Bear for his opinion? No, he is entitled to his opinion. And that's what we're about here, is about sharing how certain albums or songs, because it's your own personal experience. We're all different people and we have different, it's like we hear these albums and songs at different points in our life. We're different ages when we hear certain songs. So we're all entitled to all of our opinions. So I just want everyone to be aware of that.
You know,
go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I just wanted to make sure I put this up, but I just want to, my deepest condolences to you, Chad. And I totally understand how Prince saved your life because he saved my life as well. And that's the reason why we keep doing this every single week, because music is healing. You know, it is an anchor you can hold on to when the world is crazy. And the world is pretty crazy right now, at least for me. So my deepest condolences. And thank you for being here with us every Saturday. Really do appreciate it. All right, Ricky.
No, I was going to say, man, one of the benefits I know we had was with these albums was, I think whether you liked it or not, it was always a possibility of a tour or I mean, at least the hopes of one. And so I know when Blatcherberry said the thing about Love Sexy, I remember thinking that, and I was like, well, you know what? He's probably going to tour. So let me keep listening to this album. And then, it grew on me. But I remember that was one of the things that I remember, with every album, you were kind of like, is he going to tour? Like, we go see him? You know what I'm saying? And so I think that helped with, man, a lot of the listening as well.
Yeah, I always associate Prince albums, over the years when I was, when they would come out, it was always, to me, that was part of the discovery, was like, all of the songs on here I'm not loving at the beginning. There's the ones that immediately jump out at me, and then there's a couple that be like, y'all need to listen to that a couple more times to really get what he's doing. This is how I would do it. Or I would hear go on tour, I would hear the live version and be like, oh, that's how that song sounds. Let me go back and listen. And then I start to like Slow Love. To me, I didn't really play that one before, but when I saw the movie, I'm like, this is the same song. Like, this song is cold. Let me go. And then I fell in love with it, but I had to hear it a few times. So to me, the Prince album experience was always about the discovery. Some songs got immediate play. Some I kind of fast forwarded sometimes, but then I always came back to the ones that I was kind of skipping, and they became like, God, what was I thinking? This is why he's Prince and I'm the listener. Like he knows what he's doing. I'm just not where he's at yet. I think it was the time that we would spend that year break of just being on this. We missed the whole year that he's recording and doing shit every day, and he didn't advance to another. So when you hear it, you have to sort of catch up. So he's been working all this whole 365 days. So yeah, it's on some other level. So that's why each album was always kind of like, what was he on this year? Let me catch up to the greatness. You know what I'm saying?
So I want to say really quickly, for me, like, Do You Lie is not a throwaway, but I understand, I guess, what you mean in terms of it not being a single, maybe. But Do You Lie is actually one of my favorite songs off of Parade, just because of the vocal arrangements alone are like to die for, in my personal opinion. So one of the things I've been really struggling and thinking about is in terms of, right now, this is What Did Prince Do This Week? And we also have a salon. And Lady Cab Driver, we're almost finished with what we're going to read in the book. In fact, there's only one more reading for the book, which is for Friday and Saturday. So I'm going to read Friday really quickly. And it's just February 22nd, 1985, the Forum, Inglewood, California, 16,000, sold out, but exact number is unknown. During the sound check, Prince ran the band through America and G-Spot, and we have that in the accompanying playlist. And then we have one more thing to read from the book. And then LTK wrote, I love a nice heated music debate, but then Lady Cab Driver says, I don't. I've had enough of that. So I've been thinking about maybe nixing the salon part and just reading the book. Would that make people happy? I
No,
don't know. So,
it don't make me happy.
all right. Well, I got to make you happy, Michael Dean.
Yeah,
Because
damn what they're talking about. No disrespect, but now we ain't.
all right. Okay. Thank you. I just wanted to make sure. All right. So let's see. Let's go to the next one. So we just read about, and this is a ticket. And then this is also a guest pass. I really like this circle, and it almost looks like a happy face with the white part. Because normally these have been rectangular, because we've been looking at these. So it's kind of cool to see a circular one. And then, Ricky, if you have your book, can you read our last thing from the book, which is February 23rd?
Yeah, I got you.
All right.
Venue Forum, Inglewood, up to no good, California. 16,000 sold out, but exact number is unknown. Rock royalty showed up tonight for Prince's show when Bruce Springsteen and Madonna joined him for Baby I'm a Star, the debut of America and Purple Rain. The respect and admiration from two of the biggest and performers of that era, reveals how deeply Prince was revered by his peers despite any controversies. I felt a great kinship with Prince. And he was a guy when I'd go to see him, I'd say, "Oh man, okay, back to the drawing board." Springsteen would reflect after Prince's passing. He just took it to another level. Earlier in tonight's concert, Prince performed the live premiere of "For the Tears in Your Eyes" as well as "Raspberry Beret."
Wow.
I do remember reading about that in Right On magazine, that they joined him on stage, or Black Beat or something like that.
Yeah.
I also heard later that he you tried to sabotage like Bruce Springsteen. I think Alan Lee said something, like Prince was calling out changes that, of course, Bruce didn't know, and he told you he couldn't play. Like, well, of course he can. Of course he can. You calling out changes. You don't know.
Diabolical. Right?
I heard that supposedly, I don't know if this would be true, but I think it was Eric Lees that said, I could be wrong. I don't want to say it was Eric Lees, but I read somewhere that Prince was doing the same thing when Miles Davis was on stage.
Oh yeah, you can see it.
Can you? Because I watched it and tried to see it, but I couldn't really see it.
You can see him. I feel like you can see Miles on his expression a little bit. He's kind of like, okay, I see what you're trying to do. You got it.
Little MFer.
You got it. It's your show. You got it.
Yeah, I love this. Thank you. All right. So basically, in terms of Lady Cab Driver, the cues that were being thrown up, like Prince was throwing different cues up for the band. One of my favorite things, though, I know for sure this was Eric who said that they were missing those cues when Miles was on stage because they were watching Miles and not Prince, which I just think is hilarious. So I'm sure that might have ticked him off a little bit, like Prince. And so he might have just been doing it to mess everybody up. I don't know.
Hey, man, so when you got somebody like Miles Davis, on stage with you, like that ain't.
Yeah,
that's serious. I probably would have been missing cues too. Like, oh man, we playing with Miles Davis.
Yeah, but I love this quote from Zakia because I always found that interesting, because if that was true, and I'm assuming that it is that Miles always spoke very highly of Prince regardless. So maybe he understood, what was going on.
Yeah,
I think, a guy like Miles Davis, he's super honest, but he always came across to me like super professional. Like I wouldn't see him saying nothing crazy about any black performer, like especially as big as Prince was. Like he's not gonna. Yeah, he already know what it is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, yeah,
for sure. All right, so here's a ticket for Saturday, and they're actually D68A has that I think the audio, and I have to add it to the playlist because I don't know why I thought this was Sunday, but it's actually Saturday. So this week on What Did Prince Do This Week, there were that was from last time, 31 live shows total, because this is up until, so there's basically 2 live appearances total up to this point in 1985. There's going to be a third one next week for the Grammys. So we talked about the American Music Awards, and then we talked about the Brit Awards, and then we're going to talk about the Grammys next week. So it's going to be a huge talk. And then we may or may not have Big Sexy. We'll see how that goes. And then, so 31 live shows total so far in 1985, which you can see here. So there were 5 this week at the Forum, and these no new songs this week. Hopefully you've seen Sly Lives. If you haven't, please watch it. It's a really good documentary on Hulu and Disney Plus. And for the music, I'm bummed that I didn't find out about this in time, because this is a free event in New York City at the library next week, but you can live stream it. So you can register to see the live stream. So everybody can, even if you're not local, you can register for the live stream. And it's going to be Bilal and Esperanza Spalding. So I'm really excited about that, obviously. And Bilal is back on tour. And if you're in New Jersey, Bilal is going to be in Morristown, New Jersey on February 27th, and he's going to Dallas, Austin, Honolulu, San Diego, Sacramento, London. He's also going to the Jazz Cafe. I think when I want to go to the Jazz Cafe before I die. I think that's on my bucket list. And in fact, I would really love to see Omar at the Jazz Cafe. I've always wanted to go there. And then Chicago. So please go support Bilal. He is one amazing vocalist and musician, and I love the band he has right now. I always love his bands, but it's something very special right now. And I want anybody on the West Coast, particularly in LA, they're doing the PopCon again from March 13th through 15th. I am moderating a Prince and fashion panel with some of our symposium regulars. So Cassie Ritchie is going to be presenting, Kirsty Fairclough, Robin Shumays, and Karen Turman. So the whole, it's all about fashion and music, and we're doing the Prince fashion and music, and we're going to be presenting Friday in the morning right now. And they haven't released registration yet, but when they do, and it's a free conference, I will let you know. Last year was pretty amazing because there were 2 keynotes last year. One of the keynotes was George Clinton, and the other keynote was Wendy and Lisa. And I'll put those in the accompanying playlist. I've done that before, but if you haven't had a chance to look at those, you should, because they're really good conversations. And whoops. Omar has a brand new song, which I absolutely love, called Can We Go Out? There's also a video that goes with it that's in the accompanying playlist. Don't sleep on Omar. It's an amazing song. He has a new album coming out, and you can pre-order vinyl and all that kind of stuff if you're into that through Bandcamp. So I've already done my pre-ordering because I love me some Omar. And in the Purple World, I'm sure some of you have heard that they are releasing a Dolby version of Purple Rain in the theaters for one night on March the 5th. So if you have any AMCs around you in the States and you want to hear the Dolby Cinema version of Purple Rain, that is your night. I can't remember, Michael and Ricky, did you guys like the Dolby, like the Atmos release of Purple Rain that was released last year?
Awesome. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
I never got it, but I heard it was great. Yeah, Mike, I think Mike did a thing on it. Yeah, said it was dope.
So like Apple Music, if you have Apple Music, and some headphones, you can listen to it.
Yeah. So when you listen to Purple Rain now, like, is that your go-to, the Dolby version, or?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And I think what they're playing in the theater though is it's not the Atmos of the album version, it's basically you're just playing the 4K disc, which has the Dolby mix on there, but still it sounds phenomenal. It'll look fantastic.
Yeah. I'm glad that you clarified that because
The Dolby Cinema though is a different audio experience. You know, it's way more. You know, they have the Atmos is in the theater there. There's speakers all throughout that place, so it's going to sound amazing. I mean, if you ever seen a movie in the Dolby Cinema, you know it just like so
yeah.
yeah, it's going to sound crazy. That music.
Yeah, Lee Christian says anything but the Josh Master. Do you remember what do you say to that, Michael?
That's my man, so I can't really co-sign that, but
All
I know
right.
it's salute to Josh.
It's just that I mean I know that Lee Christian isn't the only person who feels that way
For sure.
in terms of that particular remaster.
Well, that
And
was a Prince remaster. We're not gonna put that on.
yeah,
That's when Prince was alive. He called the shots on that. So
that is true. And all right, so I heard, or some actually, Man Ray 10 let me know about Hucky's releasing a book. Thank you, Man Ray 10. I really appreciate it.
I like that cover.
It's pretty dope, isn't it? You can follow him on Substack, and I highly recommend it. On Substack, it's at Bodyguard Insider. And if you click on the image in the slide deck on the homepage for our book club, it'll take you right there. Or you can just, Google Hucky Austin Substack. It'll probably take you there. So I'm really looking forward to this book that Hucky will be releasing.
Should be interesting.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Should be interesting.
Another thing, if you go to that Substack, he writes about a little bit about the Netflix documentary, and he talks about how he was interviewed for it and how he felt that they had a different agenda. You know, it was a little bit of a bait and switch when he got there, which is very similar to what, if you read the article by John Bream, Hucky's thoughts are very, very similar to John Bream's in terms of it seems like they had an agenda. So you might want to, if you want to read that, you can. It's on Substack as well. You should just follow it because he's going to be like posting things he's thinking about for the book on his Substack. So I'm really, really excited about that. And then let's see. Oh, and also Hucky shared this on Facebook, which was for, which is great. I wish I would have seen this for the show last week, but it's Tacoma. So you can see the daily memo for Tacoma.
Interesting. They stayed at 4 seasons.
Yes.
That's all the way in Seattle. It's quite a drive from that to where they played.
Interesting. Yeah. But you can see everybody who got, hotel rooms and what the room numbers were and all of that. So I'm really grateful that he posted that on Facebook. And again, many thanks to Man Ray 10 for pointing that out to me. Really appreciate it. And we want to make sure that we're sending love, hugs. And if you can donate to Dr. Funkenberry's GoFundMe, he's still going through, the medical treatments, and it's very, very expensive. So if you can, donate, and if you can't, reach out and give him a kind word. And the same for Troy Gua, which is kind of crazy to think about. We have 2 people going through cancer at this time. And so in the accompanying playlist, I'm going to add some more, but I would definitely listen to the sound check from Inglewood on February 22nd. I'll add the 23rd show. Then there's also audio of the 18th show at Inglewood, but it's a crowd recording. So see, this is for C. Lee, because C. Lee likes the crowd audio where you can hear everybody in their comments and everything. So if that's you, that is the audio for you. And then there's a little clip about Purple Rain being in the theaters for one day only, the Dolby mix, the Will Smith conversation that Sakia mentioned earlier today, a link to the Slide documentary, and also an interview with Questlove about the documentary on Sherry Shepherd's show, which I thought was really interesting in terms of how he really wanted. He was so one of my issues with the Sly documentary is his intent, which is he wanted to use Sly to show as an example of what happens to Black genius. And I just really thought that it would have been better if he would have left a Black genius narrative for another documentary where he could have showed a lot of different people, because, you know, Sly wasn't the only one. But that's just my personal thing. And Man Ray is telling us that the Prince celebration is June 5th through 9th, 2025. Have they released any information about that beyond the dates? Because I know they released the dates last year, but have they done any updates? Because maybe I missed it in my email.
Put out a post, Purple Rain 2.0. Which,
Oh, okay, they did.
Go, yeah.
Yeah. I didn't see your quote about Jill Jones.
Oh no, they're getting it in.
Okay. Well, as everybody should know, I have a lot of respect for Jill Jones. So I'm not even going to look at the comments because I don't know what's going on. And, you know, I respect Jill. So, and we still want to give love and prayers to everybody in LA dealing with the aftermath of the fires, because I'm sure a lot of people are still going through it. So, Michael Dean, take us out.
Well, this has been a fun episode, as usual. Thanks to Big Rick coming through.
That's right.
And blessing us. Salute to Celie out there at the game. We see how you see us. Salute to Kim, and salute to everybody in the chat. Low key reading them all, and yeah, because we grown, some stuff we not gonna comment on, some stuff we are. That's how it works. But Google is free, so you can always start your own, and we'll come on there and listen to you talk about it. I'm with it. But with that said, ladies and gentlemen, have a great afternoon. Have a great weekend. Thank you, D'Angela. Work it like a job. We'll see you next time. Peace.
Y'all have a good one, everybody.
Yeah.